So, leaving the USS Yorktown, I was left with a rather tough predicament here. There's 1 hour before that closes here, so I can either do the museum or the Vietnam experience. So, I am choosing to do the Vietnam experience. Let's go on in and see what we can learn about the conflict in Vietnam. And right off the bat, it isn't the Vietnam experience without a Huey helicopter right out front, which was the workhorse of that conflict. Troops, wounded soldiers, supplies, that thing definitely had quite the workload in Vietnam. This is an example of a Viet Cong sampan, which was used in the southern region. They had a lot of deltas and rivers and things like that. You can see the RPG here. And they were also used by the common civilians as well. So they're also showing what a South Vietnamese city would have looked like at the onset of the Tet Offensive. So this would be a theater downtown. Pretty interesting. And right here is an example of a mortar, an 81mm mortar. Specialist Gustave Velez and Willie Perez of the 9th Infantry Division preparing to fire an 81mm mortar in the Mekong Delta, April of 1968. So here's a few other weapons, obviously the iconic AK-47. Right here, this is a claymore mine, and that writing there literally says front towards the enemy. Here's your wire, your det cord, and your trigger fuse. You would squeeze that, but inside is thousands of metal BBs, and when that would explode, it would shoot those metal BBs, and obviously it was an anti-personnel mine. And right here, this is called a law, and it was a portable anti-tank weapon, kind of evolved from the bazooka from World War II in Korea. But they can shoot this at an enemy vehicle and discard the tube. Now, unfortunately, the Vietnamese and the Viet Cong were extremely resourceful, and they would take these discarded tubes, fill them with grenades, and when an unsuspecting U.S. soldier would walk by and hit a tripwire, it would undo this cap and drop the grenades amongst the squad or platoon and cause some casualties. So they were fighting a very resourceful enemy. So just giving you a closer look at the Huey here, and it could also be used as a gunship. So here you have your minigun here. You can also have 50 caliber machine guns, 30 calibers, and also rockets. So again, this was a very versatile helicopter. Cool thing about the minigun is its high rate of fire. Those barrels would rotate. And here's an example of the belt that would feed the bullets into the chamber of the minigun. Now this here is, I believe, the Cobra attack helicopter. As the demand for helicopters and close infantry support rose, the need for close air support rose as well. So they came up with this concept, the attack helicopter. This looks like maybe a 20mm cannon. And again, you have some rockets and missiles and things of that nature. This couldn't hold soldiers. It was strictly for close air support. Wow. So they're pretty much simulating a FOB, or forward operating base, on the Mekong Delta here in Vietnam. And here is one of the river boats here, river attack boats. And you have your twin 50 caliber machine guns, and you have another 50 at the end. And then here you would have your M60s, or grenade launchers, things of that nature. Alright, so far I feel like I made the right decision by coming to the Vietnam experience. It's really cool. I don't know if you can hear the sounds in the background. That's simulating a helicopter's landing with wounded soldiers. And we are making our way. And we have another helicopter variation along with the M113 armored personnel carrier. And this actually saw service up until the second invasion of Iraq in 2003. And making our way into the sick bay, where they are currently working on a soldier. You see he had several wounds here. The medevac helicopters could easily take a soldier from the battlefield, from the side of a mountain or a field somewhere in Vietnam, and get him to a forward operating base, and where the medical team could stabilize the soldier, and then once he's stabilized, they can get him to more definitive care. And the crazy thing is, and this is still prevalent in today's battlefield, extremity hemorrhage is the #1 cause of preventable death on the battlefield. So now we are going to go into the hooch, or shelter, that was used during the Vietnam War, and getting a little insight into the barracks life here. You have your grenade launcher and your flak vest there, some socks and your boots. Yeah, this is pretty accurate. And you have another soldier over here, and you can see these nets on top. Those are mosquito nets, you can imagine being in the jungle. And you see some of the grenade rounds up there that would go into the 203 grenade launcher. And here's your helmet and another flak vest. Yeah, that's cool. Good visual. Here's your latrine. There's really no need to go in there. If you want to know what a latrine looks like, just go to the bathroom of your own house, and there you go. So we're going to make our way. Here's the fire support sector of the FOB here. And looks like we're coming up on an M101 A1 Howitzer. So just giving you a little lesson on the howitzer here. It's a light-towed cannon that fires 105mm projectiles. The cannons are single-loaded and air-cooled using a semi-fixed ammunition, which can be adjusted for distance and target. This is really cool. And your shell would be loaded right in there, and you'd pull this back to close it. So this guy here, you can kind of hear it shooting. This is the M42 Duster, which is a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun armed with twin 40mm cannons. You can see the cannons there, and then you can hear them firing. This is what they would sound like. That's a really cool visual. Again, you have the open turret here and your twin cannons right here. And welcome to Case On. And here is a Chinook, and this is pretty cool to see. Honestly, I haven't been on one since I was in the Army. And yeah, it still looks the same. So this is where your your infantry, wounded soldiers, and anything like that would sit. And here's your cockpit here with the pilots. Pretty interesting. Of course, we have to visit the PX, your post-exchange. All right. And some ice cold Cokes, some gum, some candy bars, and some reading material back there. Really cool. And of course, if you're ever forward deployed, mail call is everything. So they have an outgoing mail slot, and this is where you pick up your mail too. So that was the Vietnam experience here at the USS Yorktown Museum. I feel like it's safe to say that I chose correctly. It's pretty cool. I haven't really covered a whole lot of Vietnam on my channel, so I'm glad to at least have some content out there for this conflict. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.